Hello, friends. Happy Thursday in Pup In The Life. Exceptionally, not from Milan because we were there yesterday. In today's episode of the pod, customer care. We all hear businesses that talk about being customer centric, customer oriented, where the most important thing is the customer. And then when you ask for support, it actually sucks. And Mom was talking with another person about this, like person who actually works together with customer support teams in customer success. And this is not, you know, a way to razz anyone because I'm not naming names, but just a tiny analysis on that. But we're just asking ourselves, how did the bar become so low? Why are we accepting such a horrible level of customer service for most of the services that we use? I'm not finding an answer. I don't have an answer. I just have the question. And I can, I'm going to ask the next question was, how about a company that you think is very good with customer service, that you remember because it's good for customer service? And we might have some insider information about this due to people that were working there. But we think that potentially the company that most, is representing this type of customer centricity is Amazon. And we can do a whole podcast analysis on that. It's not the place to do it. This is just like a tiny rant about it. But the question that arises is it because Amazon was the first mover, therefore it's a choice, and therefore they needed to adapt themselves to being the standard even for customer service? Probably not, because either way, if you still are the standard, you are probably needing to be good, but not like lots of standards have awful customer service. So it is not an answer. Are they there because they were very good with customer service, or are they there because they can afford to spend lots of money in that specific line of business, which is e-shop, which is Amazon platform marketplace, because they have Amazon Web Services, which is basically the cash cow of the company, and therefore from that specific cash cow, everything else just arises from that. I don't have an answer, but it's clear that you should have that embedded in the culture. And I know that every time I asked Amazon for something, they solved it right back. Is the bar too low? Is that Amazon just is outperforming everybody because it is excellent, or is just an average in a market of awfuls? It is not a typical place where you would invest money, but it's actually the real touch as a startup. It's actually the real touch point with people is customer success and customer support. It's quite hard to understand this at first because you usually tend to understand how to deal better with getting new customers. So it's marketing and sales. But how about retaining customers, right? It's kind of obvious. Nevertheless, the question that arises is simply how and why have we arrived at this awful place where we don't have a standard in the tech world of good customer service. Now, if you are thinking about specifically someone, please drop the names. We're very curious about it. But for now, we are probably just accepting the sheer fact that it's gonna suck. And it's gonna suck no matter if you talk to a bot or a human, which is, to be honest, always not a very good experience. Now, there are many things to say about it, but the question is, if the bar is too low, if the bar is low because we are used to shitty experiences, how good can it get when it actually is good? And the second question is, like, to make a difference, right? To make a difference in the marketplace. And the second question is going to be, how do you do it? And we could answer, you do it with the things that don't scale, like the very famous paper by Paul Graham. But simply, the biggest answer, the most important answer, is creating a culture around customer feedback. And the first people that should listen are your people product, not only your salespeople or marketing people or customer support. So technically speaking, you should embed this type of processes inside an organization so that these pieces of data are very, very clear to anyone who is involved in customer operations, which is basically anybody. Because even if you do product, you are actually facing customers somehow. Part of you, a representation of you, is facing customers. So just a tiny rant, just a tiny piece of advice that we think is going to be useful to change a bit and that we have learned on our own skin. Well, mom, I'm a dog. Yeah, so this is all for today. Hot is making us do harder and harder this podcast on the go, but we're trying to do our best. Sending you lots of support, kisses, hugs, and a bit of barks. Bye!